Hi, everyone. I'm back here to talk about the Health, Wealth, Wellness Summit coming up on April 12th. It runs from 8 a.m. PST time all the way to 6 p.m. PST time. So there is something for everyone on this summit. If you're a parent of any sort or take care of kids, this is a place to be. I am running the track for empowering moms. And so I brought Lucie on with me today because we're going to share what our track is all about. But again, this summit is for any parent out there that wants more information. So you're going to click the links and register regardless, because at any given time, there's going to be 10 different talks to choose from. So much information going, and it's all free. So you're going to want to join us. But today, we're going to bring up Lucie, and we're going to talk about, I love her topic because our hearts just speak to each other. And she talks about how to get unstuck in that midlife area. Because, once those kids go out of the house, you're like, what do I do with myself? She's going to help us out with that. Ooh, wrong way, that way. Take it away, Lucie.
Well, thank you so much for having me, Michelle. As always, we always have a great time connecting because there are so many things that we've had similar experiences in life. But it's not just us. This is the story of the midlife mom. And that midlife period can hit us moms anywhere from your early 40s right up until your early 60s, because it's all going to depend on the age of your kids and where they are in their life. But what I'm finding with most women is somewhere in those years, they reach that point where they start to realize that their nest is emptying. They have more time, but also their roles are changing. And when our roles change, our identities change as a mother, that's when things can get really scary. And for me, it paralyzed me. And that's when I became stuck.
It's so true, though, how you said but even like for me, like I was feeling a little bit earlier and we've had this conversation, whereas my kids are still a little bit younger, but I can already see that like you got to take those precious moments. And I can't even imagine like once they're actually out of the house. But even right now, that feeling of a mom, like that we've given so much. And then when we don't take care of ourselves to figure out what we want to do, something gets so lost. And that identity change is so key to figuring out where we fit into all this. What do you think about that?
In our identity, it does change, and then it can change again. Because what a lot of parents are experiencing is that while their kids may go away to college or university, because of the economic situation that we're finding ourselves in right now, kids are coming back. And then you have to readjust to now having adults in your home. And you also have to acknowledge how that actually changes the dynamics of your home, because then you have to start looking at things like cost sharing. Are we still responsible for all financial aspects of our children while they're working full time? How do we help them get their best foothold on life while not bankrupting ourselves in the process? So it's a roller coaster. Things ebb and flow, and you're constantly having to refigure stuff out, and it can be a lot. I mean, some days you're coasting, and then other days you're just like, just let's hit pause. I just need to tap out for a few hours because I'm done.
That's so true. So what are some of the things that you recommend when the moms feel like they need to tap out? What are some ways to like really, because I know for me, like before I started going down the personal journey development, I don't even know what I'm saying today. It's been a long day. But I'm thinking like before I used to always just like watch TV or like play like games on my phone. And the next thing I knew, I felt like my head was just more foggy. I was more tired. So I know as moms are coming out of this going, how do I actually make some positive changes that actually fill my cup rather than deplete me?
This is where I'm going to get on the self-care bandwagon. Self-care, self-care, self-care. And it's really important to note, self-care isn't just about spa days and lunch dates with your girlfriends. Self-care is nourishing yourself, mind, body, and soul every day. And it can be something as simple as taking 10 minutes 3 times a day just to do something for yourself. And yeah, put down the phone, put down the tablet, disconnect. You could do something as simple as make a cup of, your favorite coffee or whatever herbal tea you want. Go outside into nature if you have any around where you're living, and just watch the birds, watch the squirrels, just do something, breathe the fresh air. You can crack open your journal and do what I call, verbal diarrhea on a page. Just dump it all out, get all that crap on a piece of paper. Another thing you can do is just take 10 minutes, close your eyes, and just breathe deeply.
Oh, I love it.
Simple, just simple things. It doesn't have to be complicated. It doesn't have to be shut and lock the door for an hour. It's find those moments in the day just to take that pause and connect with yourself. Ask yourself how you're doing, what you're thinking, how you're feeling. And then when you need to, ask for help and take a pause. If you need a longer pause, take that pause.
Well, I just love how you said the whole idea of self-care, because I feel like, and I was even saying it earlier in some of the other talks I've done, is like self-care is like it's overused at times, but I think it's more so the way you put it, it's got a bad rap right now. It's because we have these ideas in our head of what it's supposed to be. And I can almost say the same thing with meditation. Like you're supposed to quiet your mind, but your mind's never
Good luck
going
with
to
that.
quiet. Like thoughts going through your mind are like part of life. Like you're never going to completely get rid of a thought. The idea is that you learn to give yourself grace and structure when those thoughts come in. Like, oh, okay, I acknowledge them. Now I'm moving back to my breathing or whatever type of meditation you're doing. And so I think a lot of that comes down to us not understanding what all these keywords are when we say don't go down the personal development route. Do you have any tips on that?
Do what's right for you on your time. For me, I start my day by putting myself first. I start with journaling. I start with meditation. I start with some yoga. I start my day being mindful of who I am and what I need, because I know if I put it on the list, it will always be on the list and it's going to fall off, drop off, and I will never get to it. So I start my day an extra 30, 40 minutes beforehand, just to start with those things that fill me up first, because then whatever comes to me throughout the day, I can handle it because I started calm and centered. That's what works for me. That doesn't necessarily work for everybody. So what's important is to look for those times throughout the day that work for you. This is your self-care. This isn't something else on your to-do list. This is what you need to feel your best so that you can then love and support your family as best as you can.
Now, I know what I was thinking when you were saying that is a lot of people have always said, oh, I have to get up early to do all these things and stuff. And I don't think it's necessarily about the getting up early. And I love how you said, pick what works for you, especially if you've never done any of this stuff before. Like Lucie just listed 3 different things, right? We had the meditation, we had the journaling, we have reading in there. We have all kinds of different things. What I would suggest is you just start with one and try them out and see what does this one help me feel better later in the day? Because remember, sometimes we want that instant gratification, but the things to actually look for, I feel like, are the things like, am I actually able to have more calm in my day when things happen? Because we can't control what happens around us. We can only control how we react or respond to it, right? So then we're thinking about, well, did my morning actually help me when my kid threw the tantrum? Was I able to take a step back and respond rather than react to them? That's kind of the way I've been looking at it. Is like all of a sudden, it's funny, I was at my mother-in-law's house this weekend. I was telling Lucie about it, that she one of, I guess, her sister-in-laws had mentioned to her, Michelle's parenting style must have changed a lot since she's been doing all this stuff. And then she just looks at me and she's like, I had to really think about it, because you're just Michelle. Like I never really thought about it. But then all of a sudden she's like, it really, when I really focused and thought about it, she's like, there's so much more calm to you than there used to be. Like there used to be all these screaming matches and things and just like more tension. She's like, when I really thought about it, there has been so much change. It was really nice to hear an outside perspective. I think that's what we're looking for when we're going down this route is, how does the rest of our day go? Like, what is this self-care doing for that part of the day?
Yeah, and don't measure it against anyone else.
Right.
And it can take time. If you're coming from a place of stress and overwhelm, it's going to take the time just to get your nervous system used to calming down and relaxing and just finding that quiet. But if you want somewhere to start, anybody can start with 10 minutes in their day. And probably one of the easiest things to do is go on YouTube, find a 10-minute guided meditation. Whether you're taking 10 minutes out of your lunch break, you're sitting on a park bench somewhere, you're just closing your eyes. Put sunglasses on. Nobody's going to know your eyes are closed. Sit in your car. Lock yourself in your car. Find somewhere. Throw in your earbuds and just listen. And yeah, those first few times you're listening, you're going to be thinking about grocery lists. You're going to be thinking about what's for dinner. But when you catch yourself doing that, just come back to where you are. And over time, you'll realize that you're spending more time connecting with the meditation than you are with the chitty chatty in your brain. And then start to notice over days and weeks how that affects you.
Oh, I love that so much. On that note, we're going to get such more information from Lucie. Come join us at the Health Wellness Summit, April 12th. Again, the links will be in the comments or the description down below. Just click the link, go ahead and register. It is free registration, and then you'll get set the whole schedule so you can pick from any of the experts you want to see. But I highly recommend coming to come see Lucie. It'll be a great interview, and I'll be hosting all the women's track all day long, and I can't wait to see all of you there. Any final tidbits for our audience, Lucie?
Find 10 minutes to breathe. I know I keep saying it, but trust me, you will thank yourself later.
And when you think about those 10 minutes, just ask your gut. Like she said, look at those meditations and stuff and just ask your gut, what do I want to do? Pay attention to what it's telling you. Don't think that because it worked for someone else, it's going to work for you. Listen to that gut as you're looking at what are you going to do in your 10 minutes. But find 10 minutes a day. Each of us can do that. And we can't wait to see you at the Health Wealth Wellness Center on April 12th. Bye, everyone.